Longreach in Queensland's central west is bracing for flooding, with the Thomson River expected to peak over the next 24 hours. The SES warns waters could be as high as 6.7 metres. That's the level reached in 2000, the last severe flood in the region. Residents and business owners have spent the day moving items to higher ground and sandbagging their homes. Alan Smith owns and operates Outback Aussie Tours in Longreach, and he joins us now. Alan, thank you very much for your time on what is no doubt a busy day. What's it like where you are at the moment? Just describe it to us.
Well, to be truthful, it's quite beautiful out here. There's a lovely breeze blowing, and we've got something we don't see very often, a lot of water. Look, this is a big flood. It's not the biggest flood, but it's still a big event. There's been some huge deluges right up the catchment. We've had 300 mils at one place and 200 across a lot of others, right up, and that's finally coming down through the system. And this system is actually delivering. Where I am now is on the highway between Winton and Longreach, about 6 kilometres out of Longreach. And this is where the road to Muttaburra goes one way and the road to Winton another, and then back into Longreach. So nearly 9 kilometres wide of just water. So it's like an infinite sea, and a lot of water for Western Queensland.
Wow. Well, tell me about your business. How are you being affected so far?
Well, we have a little site called Smithy's Outback Dinner and Show, and we run a boat cruise there through the winter time. And of course, you need a good snorkel, but we can guarantee a wet bar. It's completely underwater at the moment.
And so what kind of work have you had to put into preparing for what could still be to come?
Oh, look, we live on a floodplain. We have a business on it that involves the floodplain, and we've got nearly 40 years experience. So we do know what happens. We do know what we've got to do. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we were moving cold rooms, kitchens, toilet blocks, and a lot of stuff that had to be organised. But that's just one business. And there's a lot of cattle and sheep operations here have had a lot of work to do, moving stock and fencing and that sort of stuff. But Outback Aussie Tours, we've just got a little operation on the river here. Plus we have trucks that run tours from Cape York to Cameron Corner, and the whole region that we live and operate in is actually in Northern Australia. We get a thing called a monsoon trough that comes down every year, and every 20 years we get a big season. We're in the middle of one of those big seasons, and that's why we've got this. It's a natural thing. It's a great thing for the ecology. We do get hit a little bit by people thinking it's going to be flooded forever, but floods come up and floods come down, but the rejuvenation of this landscape, the flush of green that's already here, is phenomenal. It's an environmental wonder. These flood events are natural, normal, even though the cloudburst mightn't seem so for those underneath them at the time.
And have you been chatting to your neighbours, to other people in the region? How are people feeling at the moment?
Look, only a year ago, we had our flood probably a month later than this, and it was a big one. It was a lot bigger for the troops down south of us and quite devastating in places. So we've had having our big flood a month earlier than we did last year. The effects in the market, because we're in tourism, we've got to watch that and get good news stories out where we can, because it's a good thing. It's part of the cycle. It is a pain in the bum for a lot of people getting caught up in it locally. But, you know, when you've got a good love affair with the environment, it's like a good relationship, mate. You've got to take the good with the bad and celebrate the wins.
And how do you expect that clean-up effort to go once the flooding peaks and then subsides? What kind of support might you need in the area?
Well, I think the support will vary. We have an incredible Shire Council here at Longreach. We have an incredible state that's right behind flood relief, not just now, but every year. And I think we, like a lot of people, will just have to assess the damage, have a look at what needs to be done to get operational again, because cash flow in business is critical. And so the quicker we can clean up, so that any help we can get to help clean up, and the market, effect in the market, the marketing is probably as much important to us in tourism as it is for the cost of cleanup.